Today on Biscuits and Tea with JP, I am joined by none other than Dominic Joyce, who is the founder of CVUpgrade and the co-founder of Career Kicks. We're going to be talking about all things CVs, career advice, and what else, Dom?
Whatever the hell I want to talk about, really.
We're going to freestyle it as well. But before we get started, what I want to find out is what you got in your cup.
So, let me just obviously for people watching this. So I've currently got kitchen fitters right now in my kitchen. So right. I have no kettle, no coffee machine. I've got a microwave sat in my living room right now. That is pretty much.
Moment? Yeah,
pretty much just it's like a hotel room. My kitchen, my living room. It's like bed, microwave. Shoulder iron press. So I've got a flat white from Starbucks. And to keep it obviously old school, little Kit Kat. Gone for 2 fingers, can usually manage 4, but I thought I'd play it safe today for the audience and just say, look, little 2. But again, had the choice, I'd have gone out and bought some of those Cafe Noir biscuits. Anybody that knows about them, they're basically a hidden gem. In the biscuit aisle, they've got a black wrapper on them, but they're just basically a biscuit, like a rich tea base, like a coffee icing on top of it. Like, honestly, mate, they are.
Sounds good. Sounds really posh, Dom.
I am quite upper class. Excuse obviously the hat and the beard, but obviously I'm 6 months deep in now about having a haircut, mate. So I just make I tie it back or smash it in a snapback and make do with what I can.
No, mate, that's what we're all doing. I'm going for the Wolverine look. It'll be there in another month or so, I reckon. But
I love it.
So I've got Yorkshire Gold.
Nice.
All my northern friends. Good drop.
Are you sugar or milk?
No, builder strength. No sugar, because the sugar's coming in my. I've got fruity flapjack cookies from Marks and Sparks, mate.
Look at you, upper class.
I'm going to have a little dunk. Yeah, well, I'm a posh chap, I'm a class so I'll have a little dunk.
I'll have a little dunk as well. I'll dunk in me old, my old cortado. So a Kit Kat and a cortado. You have a tea and a biscuit, yeah. No, I'm from the posh part of Bracknell, you see.
Yeah, you're right, I can tell. Continental, the cortado.
That's it. Oh, mate, it's just broken in half. Obviously, when the wife threw it at me, it just snapped in half. So literally now it is 4 stubby little fingers.
Miniature fingers.
Yeah, like my fingers, little stubs. So there you go.
Like it. All right. Well, my biscuit's pretty good. So let's get into it then, Dom. Anyone listening who doesn't know you, right? There won't be many people because you're a bit of a face on LinkedIn. So for those that are listening that aren't familiar with who you are and what you do, what is it you do exactly, and what problems do you solve?
I basically make dreams come true. No, I'm joking. So about 3 years ago now, I started a company called CVUpgrade.
Okay.
Basically, it's a side hustle because of, if I'm honest, got tired of looking at crap CVs. I'm a recruiter by trade, so just thought there's got to be a market for people needing help with their CVs. And what are we now? 3 years in July, 400 clients down for a part-time gig. Help people out across the globe, from graduates, entry level, to CEOs, non-exec directors across every industry. I'm pretty sure I've written CVs for butchers and bakers, candlestick makers during that time. But enjoyed it. I've met some great people. Even had one of my clients invite me to his evening wedding reception. So
really,
yeah. So mate, it's a free bar. You don't turn down a free bar, do you?
You went there, did you?
So no, well, it's obviously been postponed because of COVID. So the second obviously it's there, mate. I'm there with bells on. Obviously the wife's not aware yet, but it's only me. No plus ones. So shame.
If you do get a plus one,
you're bringing you, mate. I'm bringing Johnny Frank the Tank Perotta. That's what I'm bringing.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I guess what I do basically is, and people may have seen my content on LinkedIn, I try and share anything I can do, free advice around how to write and structure a CV, the do's and don'ts, the quick wins, LinkedIn profiles, how to make it stand out, how to engage with people, how to approach recruiters about jobs, or just to basically build your network, cover letters, so pretty much everything you think about from applying to a job, from building a CV, all the way through to interview preparation to getting the offer. So it's pretty much the whole sort of full suite of products that I do with the service there. And then around about a year ago now, A good friend of mine, Russell Wales, who's based over the pond in Sydney. We sort of collaborated to create career kicks, which at the interim has been more around sort of students and graduates and their job search, because there's definitely, I think, a gap when people leave university or college to when they get their degree qualification. Almost then the door shuts behind them on education. They're there in the big bad wide world, and they've got no real idea what to do, how to approach roles. It's all just a case of, I guess, the common approach of seeing a job and applying to it. When in reality, as we all know, LinkedIn's a great tool to network in, to build your network and pipeline. So I guess what I do, it's consultancy, it's coaching, it's like, I can't really put what I do into one category. Because content writing, but it's also coaching, but it's also education and training. So, but yeah, I've come to 3 years now, and do you know what, man? I love it. It's, and I've got a mortgage, I've got a big dog that eats more than I do. I've got a daughter who's just turned 3. Nappies aren't cheap. So, of course, the side gig helps supplement what I do. So, hopefully that gives everyone a little bit of a insight into what I do.
Oh, fair play. Yeah, sounds like you're doing really well. 400 clients is impressive, really impressive. How long does it take you? I mean, I guess it's a bit like how long's a piece of string, but normally by the time you receive the CV till giving it back to that customer, how long does that process normally take?
It depends, of course, on the person in the role and their background. So, and also my knowledge too, as well, because of course I haven't worked in the industry. So, law and legal, I don't generally touch those clients. I've had 3 out of 400. And it took me ages to write them because I just didn't really I wasn't enthused about the industry or about what they did. Plus, with a lot of law and legal CVs, it's very rigid in how you can basically build a CV. It has to kind of be in a certain template and style. But commonly 1 to 2 hours, to sort of do the CV, build the template, add in the content. But of course, then you'll send back to the client for edits and reviews. In between that, obviously, you've got the hour-long intro call, followed by perhaps a catch-up call midway through to review CVs. So the process can commonly take around sort of 4 to 5 hours, including then the LinkedIn profile rewrite, coaching around how best to use your profile and to what purpose, whether some people want just to kind of build a network, some want to actually find a job. So I guess from start to finish, everyone's taken my top plan, which is basically a CV, LinkedIn, cover letter. You're looking around sort of 5 hours work, maximum.
What you're saying is then it takes, a day's work, really.
Yeah.
A day's work. And you mentioned content earlier, so you're not just formatting the CV and making it look pretty, you're adding or taking away from the content as well, are you?
Yeah, pretty much. And a lot of it as well is kind of collaboration with the client, because a common trend that I see on most CVs there is they're great at telling people what they do. But it's always that basically missing piece that's the most important part, in my opinion, is the achievements, the added value, what makes you different to anybody else. And the common point I make to most of my clients is, right, you're currently a product manager, you're an IT manager, but then there are 25 more of you in the current marketplace at different companies. What makes you the best IT manager out there? Well, you kind of all do the same job. So your duties are kind of all the same, just different, obviously, industries or team sizes. But in reality, it's about what you do, what you deliver, how you do it. And it hasn't got to be quantitative or qualitative. It could be around process, it can be around people, but it's showcasing to an employer, look, when you hire me, this is what I'm paid to do as part of my job title, but here's all of the added value that I'll bring to your team. Here's why you need me. And that even goes as far as highlighting core skills to match keywords on there, having a punching, impactful profile summary, because of, mate, you've been recruiting for how many years as well? How often have you seen a start on summary saying, I'm enthusiastic, motivated, driven? It's just just tosh. You just, like, as a recruiter, when you see that, it's just, you just shut off, because it's the typical cliche. Yeah, it's stereotypical, isn't it? It's just the same cliche line of, and I've seen that on graduates, I've seen that on CEO CVs, bizarrely, and it's about using, adjectives and verbs that basically are going to be less common on a CV to really elevate your profile. Yes, of course, having a nice template helps, because of a lot of it's now is visual. You get 100 plus CVs now to one job. So as you flick through the CVs as a recruiter, it's just like watching headlights on the motorway. They just all become repetitive, so it doesn't really ring true. So I guess even having a nice template, so working with clients to show them market ones that I created myself, that then perhaps aligned to their industry. That's kind of the goal, is to make sure, of course, that they have a CV when they come to me in one certain, I guess, one position. When we come to the end of it, it's a completely new CV, new template, added content, even just trying out things like past tense on CVs. So people put a role 10 years ago, they still put managing, practicing, orchestrating, and of course it's all past tense now. So just obviously more from the grammar point of view. So just punctuation, grammar, just to make it realign, because some managers, of course, will reject a CV based on one spelling mistake. So
yeah.
that's pretty much what the process basically involves.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I've been, like yourself, I've been in recruitment for 10 years, and it's amazing the CVs that I still see that don't mention any kind of achievements. It's just all responsibility based and not pointing out, well, you know, I did this, which resulted in this, you know, or saved money here, improved processes here, which resulted in this. It's amazing, isn't it? Loads of CVs. It's just missed that out completely.
I think part of it is about education really as well, but also could be slight ignorance where it's just people don't take the time to really prepare to apply to a job. You know, it's almost like dating, isn't it? If you've got a date with a really, I guess in my terms, a really beautiful girl, I would make the effort to make sure, of course, that I looked the best I did, that I looked at her profile to know more about her. Whereas if I just got a blind date, I may just make a half-assed step at it. Same with CV. If you really want a job, then, you know, for the love of all that's holy, put the effort into it. As I tell people time and time again, the CV is the most important piece of paper you're going to need in your whole entire life, because of, forget marriage certificates, forget mortgage deeds. This is kind of what will dictate what life you lead. And people, I said to you earlier, I always said to you, mate, people don't obviously say marriage is everything, but no one cries in a Lamborghini today, you know?
No.
So I certainly wouldn't, and apart from tears of happiness. So yeah, so it's just tears of joy, like it's finally mine. So, you know, the CV is your vessel to kind of giving you the life that you want via the career you want. So, you know, I've had people gain pay rises of 10, 20 grand, which of course then have meant that they can have a nicer car or, you know, have a holiday this year, all from just having, you know, a better CV, because that is, you spend 30 of your life, if you're in recruitment, a lot more, you know, at work. So at least you've got to make sure that you enjoy it. And if you want to enjoy it, be with the right company, make sure, of course, that your CV comes, you know, front and center and correct. So this is what annoys me, is I just see so many lackadaisical approaches to applying to a job. I've seen people that send cover letters dated 6 months ago. I've seen people that have told they want to work as a mechanical engineer and they're applying to a job as a account manager.
Yeah,
you know, you see it all. It's just a common trend of people just, like, as we call it in industry, spraying and praying, which of course does not impress anybody.
Yeah, the scattergun approach definitely isn't the way to do it. But you hit the nail on the head. I get a lot of CVs when they're covering letters for a role that, like you say, 6 months ago, it's completely different, like slightly different job title, different, you know, context of role. And I think, what are you hoping to achieve from that process? Because all I think it causes is more anguish for that person. If you're actually really looking for a role and you're applying to, let's say, 100 jobs, that's probably, you're not going to, and it's a scattergun approach. You'd be lucky if you get 5 people contact you, right?
Yeah. Same again goes with LinkedIn, doesn't it, mate? You've been a recruiter. You know, you get those emails from people, but they just literally just send you the CV. They send you a connection request because you just want to expand your network. You accept them. What then follows is, within 10 seconds, a 1,000 word message, which I'm sure, unless they can type like a robot, just copy and paste it. And it's like, hi, insert name, or I get called, hi, Joyce, or hello, dear. Or hello.
You do dress as a Joyce on a Sunday, though.
Yes, but obviously never apparent to the work. This is only to you and me, obviously, on our walks in the woods, Johnny. So obviously we live nearby each other, so we go for little woodland walks now and again. Obviously, no hand holding or kissing because of social distancing. But people just kind of had that same approach to it. It's a case of, well, you know, I've got a little saying that I probably stole from somebody, but I'm going to claim it's my own. You know, but it's no point having champagne career ambitions and having a lemonade work ethic, because of that's what you're going to get. So LinkedIn, again, it's just like, here's my CV. What jobs do you have going? Which, it's not my job to tell you what jobs we have going. It's your job to tell me hey Dom, saw this job that you're looking after at the moment now. Here's my CV, just for context. Would appreciate a 5-minute call if you've got time this week or next week. But I have applied to the website because that is the process to follow. Don't try and backdoor yourself, sunshine. Try and just basically make me feel like you're a prime candidate when you're not. So I just think a lot of it is just lack of education. Same as like you can say with people's health and diet, whereas same with the job industry as well. So you can probably hear someone's trying to come through my downstairs ceiling, mate. Yeah, that wasn't the curry from dinner last night, mate. That was
if you fall through the ceiling, that would be comedy gold. That would be brilliant.
We'll split the money from you in frames, shall we? Yeah.
Yeah, I could do with 125 quid.
Yeah, I could as well. You just see this dust cloud, but then just like Dom, like it's like the new Paul Daniels. So yeah, I just think a lot of it is education pieces. People, I think, as we progress into the technology, people haven't really. They still adopted the same approach as 5 years ago. You can go onto a website, hit apply to a job, add your CV. Whereas I think a lot of it, even 10, 20 years ago, before we had real internet and job boards, it was a lot more, wasn't it? More personable, sending letters in, walking in for the front door and saying, hi, my name is so-and-so. Yeah. But I think I did a post on Sunday, mate, about being different to your approach in looking for work. And, you know, I've got nearly 29,000 followers on LinkedIn now. I'm not going to call myself one of those twats that call myself a lion, because that's just not what I do. You've seen it. They put LinkedIn online networker, and then they put how many followers they've got next to their name.
Oh, yeah, that's not cool, is it?
So
it's not cool.
I just
keep seeing loads of people saying, "Oh, you know, I've hit this milestone, I've hit that milestone." I'm like, "Oh, who cares?" Oh, yeah. You're going to do it when you get 30,000, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I've got a banner. I've got a banner, mate. I've got a marching band, a video. I've literally got a plaque for the wall there to say Dom Joyce, 30,000 followers. I can no longer accept any more requests. I think it's 30,000, isn't it? You then can't.
Then your followers can go up. You can't have more than 30,000 connections, but your followers can go up.
Exactly, mate. So of course, but we all know, mate, that if you're an influencer, mate, you can pay your bills based on your following, can't you? So
exactly, we know it. So what are your top tips then for people that are looking for work? Let's say someone hasn't got the money to pay for your service. Not that it's expensive. It's really, I think it's a reasonable price, and you do a great job. But if someone didn't have the money, what do you think? What are the couple of subtle things they could do to make a difference to their career prospects?
I guess be different in your approach and be different to how you basically sell yourself. So you almost need to kind of have a slight mixture of confidence and arrogance about yourself, because of course, if you can't promote yourself on a CV and tell people why you are the best IT manager out there, the best accountant out there, why is someone going to basically pay you their hard-earned cash to do a job when you yourself have no confidence to project your skill sets? So look at basically how you basically add value to a company. So as you mentioned earlier, mate, we said, look, it's not just about figures, but it could be about a process. Think about what you've done in your last couple of roles that has really set you apart from somebody else. Don't waste time waffling about your career 10 years ago. If you're now working as a head of IT and back then you were working as a first line desk support engineer, it's got no real bearing to what you're doing now. Focus on what's more important. Focus on the roles that are going to help propel you to your next role. Try and summarize anything out. Keep it to 2 pages. 2 pages is a general rule of thumb for most people, unless of course you're senior exec level.
Or
contractor. Yeah.
Be a bit longer because they've had more, they've had a couple of jobs every year or whatever it might be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a contractor a while back who had 15 pages on his CV.
You can still trim it back, but
I mean, I asked him if he wanted to basically bind it and release it as a novel rather than a CV, but that didn't go down too well. It was a short story. But yeah, so you're right. Obviously, you can take a view on it, but generally, if you're not a contractor, you're new to the market, you think about page space too as well. Think about stuff that's basically relevant. So no one cares what blood type you are. No one cares, if you're a smoker or non-smoker. Think about what's relevant. If anyone wants to check out my profile, I've got loads of featured posts on there about quick tips to basically make your CV look good. If you're trying to approach for jobs, don't be that same person that then will just hit apply and sit there, feet up, and hope someone gives you a call about the job. Go and find on LinkedIn who the company is and who the hiring manager is or the recruiter is. Connect with them, and then for the love of God, when you connect with them, don't just be boring. Send them on your phone via LinkedIn on the app there. You can send now voice notes, you can send video intros. I promise you now, if you start to basically approach it in the way of sending voice notes or video intros, you will get a far better response and more respect from recruiters and hire managers than you will do from typical every Tom, Dick, and Harry that goes, "Oh, there's certain what you've got there. Can you talk about it?" Which I mentioned obviously earlier in this episode. It's still good to have rather than just here's my CV. But if you really want to stand out, leave that voice note, send that video intro. If they're going to employ you, at some point they've got to hear you and see you. So why not let it be an introduction message to start with?
Yeah, good shout. You know what amazes me, Dominic, is that all the jobs that I've posted, right over the last sort of 6 months, let's say, when someone applies to a job, they get an email saying, "Thank you for your application. If I haven't made contact with you within 48 hours because of the volume of applicants I'm receiving, please do contact me." Right, and then my number's in there.
Yeah.
Just, right, if I can't get hold, if I don't call you within 48 hours, it's because there's loads of people who applied for the job and I just haven't got to your profile yet.
Yeah.
Hardly get anybody follow up on their own applications, because they're obviously, people are sending so many CVs out to jobs. That's, as again, going back to the scattergun approach. And it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where you are in that line, in that file of applicants. You could be the first, then you're really lucky, but you could be the 200th, right? And let's be honest, we're all under time constraints. When we've got a job to fill, we've got time constraints. There's time scales we've got to hit for the client or internal client, whoever it may be. So in some instances, you don't get the opportunity to speak to everybody.
No, but also I know I've given clients and even my network an Excel document to track your job applications on there. So you put on there the job, the company name, title, when you applied, and what stage you're at on it, whether it's rejection, first stage, or contact. So you can create your own Excel spreadsheet and follow up on it. But like I said there, I don't like people that kind of sit on LinkedIn and moan about their job search and say, "Oh, I applied for 100 jobs and no response yet." So that's cool. You've applied 100 jobs. Well done for being proactive. But out of those 100 jobs, how many of you actually made the effort to, one, find the recruiter or hiring manager, connect with them, reach out to them, have a conversation with them about the application, or he has gone to 100 jobs, hit apply, and sat there and gone, "Please, someone come back to me"? Because if you have, guess what, Sunshine? You're part of the 99% of early people that do exactly the same approach, expecting different results. And because the market is so flooded right now, candidates, because of like Arcadia going down, last year, obviously, retail units and events companies, the market is now a lot more competitive, even though, of course, we are seeing this year compared to last year, as I'm sure you agree, more jobs are coming out, which is great, but you've still got a lot more candidates as well, though. You've got people that want to kind of move industries because of they're tired of retail or events, for example. Banking as well. I lost my job in September time redundancy because, again, banking, just no one was recruiting. So, it's a case of, be a peacock amongst chickens. Stand out. Peacock yourself. Your CV, your profile. Just be different, because that's what people will engage in, what they can see. If they can't see you making a noise or putting your name out there, why on earth are they going to approach you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So we've covered off a couple of things you'd recommend people to do. This will also help people. What are your pet hates? What are the things that come across your desk and you think, "I wish people wouldn't do that"? I mean, one of my all-time favourite things is PDF CVs. They kill me.
What's CV? Sorry.
When someone sends me a PDF CV, that gets me going.
Yeah.
That's one of my pet hates. I kind of understand why some people do it, but when you need to do stuff, it's a bit of a pain in the backside. But anyway, I'll let you go. I've said what one of mine is, but what are your pet hates? Because ultimately, your pet hates will help people.
Just basically the lazy approach to when you apply to a job and you just don't read the actual advert. So you're sat there and I look at your CV and you work at Morrison's Fish Counter and you're applying to an account manager. There's a chance that potentially you could make that move up into that level there, but you're not showing me anything around transferable skills or mentioning your reason why you want to make that move, which of course I'm just like, well, I'm sorry, but there's other account managers like you that are able to do the job. But you literally shown me nothing at all as to why you warrant the job or even interview. You then got people, of course, then will try and email you about the job but not apply to it, and then we'll be backdoored, or who do I send my CV to? Well, I'm the recruiter looking after it. Don't try and backdoor the manager, because I'll tell you to get back to me and go via the process. You then got the LinkedIn spray and pray approach. Just, I've had people all the time. I probably get 5 a day of, "Hi Dom, here's my CV. Anything you know that's going." Well, one sunshine, I work in banking, so I do not work in offshore engineering. So I've got no clue what you do and what you want, and I don't know anybody that can help you. So it's like you almost going into a butcher's and asking, "Do you sell candlesticks here?" So I think it's just people that, I think what annoys them most is people's lack of attention to detail. It's and they're lazy approach, man. It's a lazy approach they take to the whole entire process of finding a job. They don't basically take the time and the effort. I talk to candidates and I screen them, and I know on the first screening interview that I have with them who is going to get the job, or at least get to the final stage, just based purely for their interests, their motivations, their drive as to why they want to work for me and the company. I can tell. I'll put for a short list of 5 people and say, right, those 2 there are going to be your final 2. Those 2 there may not even get past second stage, and that person there, they're a dark horse. They could be good. They could, I know from that person's approach to it. I'm sure you'd agree as well from your instance of screening candidates and shortlisting them as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just doing the basics, and that is, obviously having a detailed conversation with the recruiter that you're working with to understand about the company and the culture, and then going away and doing a bit of research for yourself, making sure you dissect the job spec, making sure you look at the company profile, when I prepare someone for an interview, I always share the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile, so they can have a little look at the people that they're going to be meeting. And it's just doing that. It's just doing the research. Like, having an interest in that company will be very apparent when you're sat, on a Zoom meeting, whatever it is you're with them, because inevitably they're going to ask you, what do we do? And what you should just know the basics. You don't need to know the company inside out, because you don't work there, but you just got to show that interest, right? And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just lazy. You don't do it.
Yeah, it's people just don't. It's a case of, do you really want this job? Are you just basically applying for it to plug a gap in your career history, or just to have an income coming in? Because it's like dating. Some people want to get into a relationship to feel comfortable and feel safe, not because they love. Get into a company you fall in love with. You can relate a lot to dating as you can to job hunting. Make sure, of course, it's the right move before you commit to it, and then also it's what you want to pursue first. We've all been on there. We've been on dates with people that we didn't really like, but we just kind of wanted to pass the time, or we're bored. Don't interview companies or waste your time applying to companies that you yourself have no real intention in pursuing. It's the same as well when people obviously go through a process of interviewing and they just use you as a company to kind of then get a counter offer. Biggest pet hate as well. Don't use me and my time, my manager's time, to interview down a process and spend 4 hours with us, to then find out, of course, that you were using it all the time to go back to your employer and go, "Here's a new offer, paying what I'm worth." Biggest pet hate.
Yeah, that does happen, doesn't it? It does happen quite a bit, to be fair. It's interesting. I know that there's a careers breakfast that you've been running on a Sunday morning. So again, for anybody that's not familiar with that, what is it that you do and what are you covering on that? Is it a live chat on LinkedIn?
So it's basically, so it's a LinkedIn live every Sunday morning between 10 or 11, or depending on if guests on. I'll get you one soon as well, because I want everyone to see the Sunday morning version of Johnny Perotta. It's one of those ones where I kind of do different topics each week. One to be CVs, one to be LinkedIn profiles, one to be cover letters. So just try and basically just have a live session where people can join in, ask questions along the way as I'm doing the session, and get basically involved in the process to kind of understand how to make a CV, how to to build one, how to basically make sure, of course, that they cover the basics off, and they leave this hour session no more than they joined it. And it's obviously posted onto LinkedIn afterwards, so they can then join it and watch it. People have obviously watched it afterwards, so thanks, Dom, for the insights. So I think I'm on episode 6 now this week. So like I said, unless someone gives me death threats, pays me not to do it, mate, I'll carry on doing it.
Yeah, no, definitely. That sounds good. I think that'll be helpful for a lot of people. So, Dom, the reason we started talking was actually through LinkedIn, and it's a great tool. It's a powerful tool when it's used properly. Is there anyone on LinkedIn, any influencers that you would recommend other people follow? The content wise that you enjoy.
I always love your content, mate. You know I do. I always love your little anecdotes and your little quips and stories. I'm always a buyer of you. That's when we kind of connected, because I like to cut your jib. So yes, it's I think, you know, people that do good content. Andrew McCaskill does a lot of stuff with senior execs. Every Thursday at 12:30, he does a pretty good session there around. It's called the Executive Career Jump. You then got Leah Turner, who does a lot of content marketing. She's really, really good. You then got called Jerry Williams, who does a lot of accountancy. They're just kind of, I think the best thing to do about LinkedIn and marketing yourself is kind of treat it as a bit of business, bit of personal, share information. Don't sit there the whole time and start plugging away about what you do and what you sell. Share life stories, share funny moments, be different. You know, I always say it's always 30% business, 30% personal information, personal stories, funny stories, and then share a bit of content about your industry to help people out or to basically educate them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And is there anything on LinkedIn you're not liking at the moment?
Just plebs that keep basically recycling the same content, or the ones doing nutting is that, I mean, the emoji one where it's basically, you know, like, insightful or celebrate whether you want to work from home, work in the office.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't believe the working from home debate is still going on, really. I mean, how is that still really a topic? We've been doing it. And I think there's going to be flexibility when we come out the other side. So it's just it's a bit boring, isn't it? It is boring.
I know. It's that as well. And people that just kind of like, if you find a post and you think, I smell a copy and paster here, and you find that post text and hit it in the search bar, you'll see like 25 people that have done it. And people have done that same thing where it was that picture of that mum and dad calling. And it's like, if you had this, you're the luckiest person alive. And I was like, and that was been copy and pasted like 25 times. It's like, forget it. But it's just, if you're doing it for likes and doing it for profile views, then, you know, I don't track my likes or views on profiles and posts, mate. I'll just do it to share content. If I get, you know, feedback from it that's good, and I love it. But people just kind of then count their likes it's just people just kind of put things out there to just for shock value.
Yeah,
it's just like.
Dom, it's been great having you as a guest today on Biscuits and Tea with JP. If you could just remind people who you are, what you do, and how they can contact you, that'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, first of all, mate, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. So, my name is Dominic Joyce. I run CVUpgrade, which is basically a CVs, cover letters, LinkedIn profile, career coaching consultancy company. You can reach out to me, obviously, on LinkedIn by clicking the profile. I'm one of the connections on there, or visiting www.cvupgrade.com. On there's all prices, information, phone numbers. Don't be shy. Even for conversation, I give out so much free advice to everyone. It's not true. So if you want one question about a CV or a job, my phone's always on, except, you know, after 10:30 at night. Then it's just it's chill time.
Good man. And I've been Johnny Perotto, been your host of Biscuits and Tea. If there's any clients or candidates out there that are looking for cloud or data related work, then you'll find all my contact details on my LinkedIn profile. Thanks very much for listening today, and cheers, Dom. Good to see you, mate.
You too, mate. You take care. Thanks a lot, man. Cheers.
Take it easy.